Now we are going to learn about the position of Kandahar. Actually, the Mughal wanted to have control over Kandahar. That was because of two reasons. First was, without having possession of Kandahar, they could not keep Kabul under their possession. So to have control over Kabul, they had to have control over Kandahar. And the second reason was that the Kandahar was situated on that passage which linked India with Iran and other countries of Central Asia. So, India and other countries of Central Asia were linked by the road, and on that passage the Kandahar was situated. So, that was the second reason they wanted to have control over Kandahar. So, in order to capture Kandahar, the Mughals had to interfere in Central Asia. Now, let us see to maintain the balance of power in Asia what they did. So, in the first half of the 15th century, after the fall of the Timurid Empire, there emerged three dynasties of the Uzbeks, Safavids, and the Ottomans of Turkey. So, these three dynasties actually emerged in the 15th century after the fall of Timurid Empire. So, the Uzbeks from the very beginning had enmity with the Mughals. They were not having friendly relations with the Mughals because they had forced the Mughals to vacate Samarkand and the adjoining areas. So Mughals were not happy with this. And the Uzbeks were quite friendly with the Turks because both of them they were staunch Sunnis. They were Sunni Muslims. So they had a friendly relationship with each other. Uzbeks and Turks, they were friends. So and the Safavid Empire in Iran, they followed Shiaism. So both Uzbeks and the Turks they wanted to defeat Iran, who followed Shiaism, and but if they had succeeded in this, then there would have affected the balance of power in Central Asia. So under the compulsion, so it was compulsory for the Mughals, though they were not having friendly relations with the Iran, but still they were forced to support Iran because of this reason. Because if Uzbeks and Turks, if they joined together to defeat Iran, then there would be a disbalance of power in Central Asia. So the Mughals had to support Iran, though they had differences with Iran over the question of Kandahar. Now let us see the Mughal court. So the Mughals actually gave the value of a dignified court, so they spent a lot of money on its construction and maintenance. And they would hold this court while sitting on the high platforms so that anybody who entered in the court automatically they could see the Sultan and they could bow before him. So all the central ministers they were given the permanent seats, and the distinguished guests, if any, they visited the court, then they were given seats after giving a warm welcome. They were given seats and they were received honorably, but also they were given special attention, and rewards were also given to them. So, among all this pomp and show, the Mughal rulers did not forget to pay attention to their public. Public was also given lot of importance. So, they would often hold open courts, listen to the complaints of their subjects, and try to pacify them. So, if any person in the kingdom they had any kind of complaint, that then they used to come to the court and their problems were listened in the court, and finally the solution was given to them by the Mughal emperor. Now let us learn about how the Akbarnama was used to reconstruct history. So this immortal work were written by Abul Fazl, who is considered to be one of the famous 9 gems of Akbar's court. And this give us important information about Akbar's court, about his conquest, about his religious pursuits, about his administrative, social, economic, religious and revenue reforms, about his hobbies, his great qualities which he had in him, and many more things. So these literary works are of high quality and they show Abul Fazl at his best. So his style speaks of great elegance and power. Abdullah, who was one of the courtiers during Akbar's reign, once he said that I am not so much afraid of the sword of Akbar as of the pen of Abul Fazl. So there cannot be any great tribute to Abul Fazl's literary skill than this. And Akbarnama actually is written in 3 volumes, and the first volume tells us about the history of the Mughal royal family from the time of Timur to that of Humayun, and the second and third volume gives us the information about the history of Akbar's reign year by year, and they are considered uh, indispensable for the study of Akbar's reign because they cover every aspect of the history of that time. Now, Aina-e-Akbari is also written in 3 volumes, that means 3 parts. So, this book is regarded as the principal authority on Akbar's institutions, and it deals with Akbar's regulations in all departments and on all subjects. So, these 2 books are very, very important from the point of Akbar's reign, from the point of view of Akbar's reign. So, if we really want to get any information about Akbar's reign, then this 2 books can provide us all the information about it. So, I hope you all have understood, children. Please read the chapter carefully, and I will be sending the question answers and objectives in the PDF. Kindly do it in your copy. Question answers, do it in your copy, and objectives in your textbook. Thank you, children. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all.